Initially on YouTube, when I googled up Tanki Online haul augment guides, there weren't many, so I was like, why not just make one for myself? So anyways, welcome back to another video. Today's video, I'm going to be going over every single hull augment in Tanki Online and explaining exactly what it does. Near the end of this video, I'm going to be going in depth into what augment you should be using depending on what hull you're using in Tanki Online. We're going to be starting with the rare augments and then work our way up all the way to the legendary augments. Let's start with heat resistance. The only thing this augment does is prevents you from burning by 50%. Now, if you're using incendiary band with Vulcan, it helps a lot because, well, you don't burn as much, burn as faster as you would if you weren't using it. Now, cold resistance is kind of like the same thing. The freezing is decreased by 50%. Lightweight construction makes it so that your hull weight is decreased, and it also allows you to accelerate your tank much faster. Now, would I play with this in matchmaking? Definitely no, because it's really sloppy when you do play with it. Heavyweight construction just increases your weight by 30%. Nothing too crazy, it just prevents from allies or enemies to push you off a bridge or something like that. Moving on to engineer, it basically allows you that any supply box that you do pick up it gives you 1000 HP. Now moving up to the next rarity, which would be rare, and you would have augments like heat immunity, cold immunity, EMP immunity, stun immunity, and AP immunity. Now for all of these, depending on what immunity you're using, you're immune to AP, for example, or jammer, for example. Now, assuming that any enemy is using a stun augment and you have stun immunity, you are 100% immune. That means you can no longer get stunned at all. Now, in my opinion, the best immunity, if you don't have any of the legendary ones, is either stun or EMP. I feel like getting less stunned is much more playable compared to having your supplies removed, but some people do prefer EMP over stun. Moving on to the next category of legendary augments in Tanki Online for hulls would go to driver. Now, this augment makes it so that you're allowed to use your overdrive much more often than normal. There aren't any downsides to it, it's only that if there are enemies that have one-shot augments, it kind of makes it useless. But overall, it's a pretty decent augment if you don't have any of the other legendary augments. Next one on the list goes to Blaster. Now, depending on what size augment you're using, you'll do more damage with a heavy hull compared to a light hull. Now, the main thing is that it does around 750 to 3000 damage depending on how close you are to the enemies. Now for Lifeguard, it basically makes it so that when you are about to die or when you do reach 0 HP, your health is recovered up to 500 HP. This augment is, if not the best legendary augment you could be using for any hull in Tanki Online. Sometimes that 500 HP is enough to kill a Juggernaut or to capture a flag. And last but not least, with the final legendary augment in Tanki Online for hulls is Miner. When you do place mines with Saboteur or any miner drone, it basically makes it so that after you do die, 70% of the mines that you have placed will remain on the field. This augment makes it so that you can place mines in the enemy base and actually somehow be able to kill enemies in their bases as well. Honorable mentions would have to go to Extreme Lightweight Construction. I will put a promo code of that in the description down below. If you haven't claimed it yet, do claim it. The main advantage is that it makes your hull extremely light, 1000 kilograms, and it's ideally made for parkour. Now, for those willing to grind for Phoenix hull augments, the main advantage is that you're completely immune from jammer, EMP, stun, AP, burning, and freezing, basically making all status augments against you completely useless. Now, besides Phoenix, what is the best hull augment that you could use for your hulls? Basically, in my opinion, I feel like Blaster and Lifeguard are the best. And if you don't have any of those, I feel like EMP and stun immunity are the best. And that basically wraps up my video for hull augments. If you do have any questions, you're more than welcome to question in the comments down below. I'll see you guys all in another video. Peace out.